A very beautiful and bright morning, everyone. I, Tripti Majumdar from Department of Management Studies, take this opportunity to welcome you all in International Conference on Emerging Trends in Multidisciplinary Research and Innovation 2022, organized by LCIT Group of Institutions. I extend my welcome to Shri Pramod Jain Sir, Chairman, LCIT Group of Institution, Shri Ankit Jain, Vice Chairman, LCIT Group of Institution, Shri Upkar Rai, Technical Secretary to Chairman, Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, Director, LCIT Group of Institution, Dr. Archana Shukla, Principal, LCIT College of Commerce and Science, Dr. Shruti Rathore, Principal, LCIT School of Pharmacy, Dr. G.K. Singh, Principal, LCIT, Srimati Shubhi Srivastava, Vice Principal, LCIT and LCIT School of Pharmacy, Shri Abhinav Paul, Vice Principal, LCIT College of Commerce and Science, Shri Rahul Gedam, Organizing Chair, HOD, ETNT, Shri Naman Agarwal, Public Relation Officer, all respected deans, HODs, faculty members, staff, participants, and lovely students and viewers who are watching this program. It is a matter of great honor and pleasure that today we are all here present for making this event a success and also getting an opportunity to learn and unlearn about different trends happening worldwide. I would like to request all the dignitaries present over here to move forward for the lamp lighting. Thank you. Now, moving ahead with the program, to introduce us about our college, I would request Reverend Abhinav Paul sir to come forward. But before that, let me introduce him to all of you. He is a fine orator and an educationalist who serves as a vice principal of LCIT group of institutions. He is a renowned name when it comes to teaching of communication skill. Mr. Abhinav Paul has an MPhil in English and has done double masters in mass communication and English language. Mr. Abhinav Paul has also done study in Christian theology by completing Masters of Divinity, which has made him a pastor by profession too. Mr. Paul has more than 12 years of teaching experience and has worked in various industries, which makes him his leadership skills sparkle and benefit the student. He is hailed by many when it comes to delivering speeches, and thus is one of the most sought after speakers in many conferences, seminars, and events. Under his leadership, LCIT Group has done various successful experiments in the field of education, which made LCIT College of Commerce and Science the leading college of the district in mere 3 years of its inception. He firmly believes in transforming quality of education and an evangelist of bringing more into light of education. Now I request Sir to please come up and tell us about our institution.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tripti Majumdar, for the kind introduction that you gave for me. Well, my introduction is incomplete if it does not include LCIT Group of Institution, and it gives me a great privilege to introduce the esteemed organization that we are serving and which has organized a path-breaking, multidisciplinary international conference through virtual mode. Well, LCIT Group of Institutions started in the year 2008 with a noble thought in the minds of a philanthropist, a leading industrialist, Shri Pramod Jainji. Under the aegis of Shri Vidyasagarji Maharaj Education Trust, he started off with an engineering college named Lakshmichand Institute of Technology. Well, the eye of institute very soon became the eye of information, the eye of inspiration, and LCIT started diversifying and spreading its branches in various institutions, where Lakshmichand Institute of Technology very soon became Lakshmichand Inspired Teachers Group, where we started off first with LCIT Public School, which is a CBSE affiliated school and is providing education to more than 3,000 students right now, not only in the city, but in the whole of district of Bilaspur. Then we also came up with the LCIT College of Commerce and Science, which not only brought the paradigm shift into the higher education, but made sure that the students are provided with opportunity to develop their skills of entrepreneurship, research, and various other streams. Well, very soon we came up with the leading pharmacy school named LCIT School of Pharmacy, where students are not only prepared for the stream of pharmacy, but are also prepared as researchers, and that's one of the reasons that our first pass-out batch is actually spreading its laurel everywhere. And then we also added up 2 departments, that is the management department and the legal studies department, which is doing not only great, but has become the torchbearer in the city and in the district as well. Well, LCIT is right now spread in a sprawling campus of more than 30 acres of land, where it is serving through its 6 education institutes and is providing quality education. We have very soon become the synonymous name of quality education. Well, what I could say about LCIT is this, that not only a synonym of quality education, but also making sure that everyone gets the opportunity to reach the apex that they have dreamt of. We value the dreams of children. We value their overall development, and thus we have a lovely, luscious green campus which provides sports facility and co-curricular facilities as well. We are blessed with a team of dedicated and committed teachers, which are wholeheartedly not only involved in making the education group go through the success that it is going through, but also making ICETMRI a grand success. So I thank everyone who's watching us right now online, and I hand over the stage to Ms. Tripti Majumdar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abhinav sir. Thank you, Abhinav sir, for addressing our viewers. Now, moving ahead with the program, I would request our director, Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, to address all our participants and the dignitaries. But before that, again, let me introduce you all about him. Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey is currently working as professor and group director of LCIT Group of Institution, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. He studied ferrous metallurgical chemistry at Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur, and received a master's degree in 1987 and a PhD degree in environmental depositions chemistry in 1998. During his doctoral program, he was awarded Research Fellowship 1994 in Environmental Protection and Formation of Univerzita JE Purkani, Czech Republic by Ministry of HRD, Government of India and Czech Republic. He also obtained PG Diploma in Management and PhD in 2018 from IIM Indore. His thesis of IIM has focused in legitimation strategies in controversial industry, case study of a tobacco conglomerate. He was the first to identify arsenic and fluoride toxicity in the region of central India. His study team then concentrated in all areas of health, contamination extent, bioaccumulation, polluted water treatment, and contaminated soil remediation, among other things. As a result of these accomplishments, he was appointed as a Government of India regulator and recognized EIA expert. He served for 3 years as a member of Government of India State Environmental Assessment Committee, SEAC, which the Ministry of Environment and Forest appointed through a Gazette notification. He has acted as an expert at the CG Council of Science and Technology, where he worked as State Academic Coordinator for the National Children's Science Congress for 2 years. He was also a special invited member of the CG State Planning Commission. He has already supervised 24 PhD students, 25 master's students, and 27 master's diploma theses. He is a productive researcher who has worked on funded research projects nationally and internationally and completed 12 research projects. He has worked on major scientific research projects funded by Technology System Group of the Department of Science and Technology in New Delhi, the All India Council of Technical Education in New Delhi, the Research Promotion Scheme of the CG Council of Science and Technology under DST New Delhi funding, the Bhilai Steel Plant in Bhilai, and the Board of Research on Nuclear Science of BAR in Mumbai. He has worked as the Dean of Indian Institute of Health Management Research, Jaipur. He was also the founder principal of Bhilai Institute of Technology, Raipur, and the founder faculty of Bhilai Institute of Technology, Durg. His studies have resulted in publication of more than 75 papers, all of which have been published in prestigious peer-reviewed journals. His attitude is that the modern complexity of environmental health demands multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary teams. Now I request Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey sir to come over here and address all of you.
Thank you, Tripti. Thank you, Dr. Tripti Majumdar, for this very long introduction which you gave to me. First of all, very honorable chief guest of the today's function, Dr. M.K. Verma, Vice Chancellor of CSVTU, who is with us online right now. Our Honorable Chairman, Mr. Pramod Jain ji, our Honorable Vice Chairman, Mr. Ankit Jain ji, our Honorable Secretary, Mr. Upkar Rai ji, Honorable Principal, Dr. Archana Shukla, Dr. Shruti Rathore, Dr. G.K. Singh, our Program Chair, Mrs. Shubhi Srivastava, Vice Principal, and Mr. Abhinav Paul, Vice Principal, and all the program chairs in particularly the organizing chair, Dr. Rahul Kedam, and all the members of program chairs and co-chairs. Today is a wonderful day because today is the 19th April 2022 is there. And this day is a very important day because on the same day, we had a very wonderful achievement that was in 1975. On this day, 19th April, our first satellite, indigenous made satellite Aryabhatta was launched. And today we are sitting on the similar occasion in our institute, our LCIT group of institutions, where we are commemorating the inauguration ceremony of the first ever international conference which we are holding. In fact, we were thinking about holding this conference right in the year 1920 also, but the corona was there. The second wave came, so obviously we shifted to the this time that okay, we'll hold it. But then we had the problem of third wave also. So ultimately we made it in a hybrid mode, and this is a wonderful experience which we are experiencing right now, that we are having a hybrid conference where we are both offline and online, both is going on. Our esteemed dignitaries internationally they have joined with us online, and our own researchers and staff members and all the members are here. So this is a wonderful experience for us because we believe that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with single step. So this was the first single step which our LCIT group of institutions has taken place as the International Conference on Emerging Trends in Multidisciplinary Research and Innovation. What was the need for this one? Because we have a wonderful group where we are having engineering college, we are having pharmacy college, we are having commerce, science, arts and law. All these disciplines are being taught and wonderful faculty and staff is here. And this gives us immediately a wonderful platform where we can share our knowledges, our experiences, our researches with each other so that we can bring together this knowledge from cross-disciplinary exchange and make it deliver better results in our research activities. And today I'm glad that our efforts by entire organizing committee, by all the members of our organizing committees, it has bear the fruit, and hundreds of papers we have received. I think it is more than 250 papers we have received for presentation, and of course there are some problems are there at the moment because BU and AU both are having their convocation, so that's a different thing. But at the same time, we are having wonderful keynote speakers. For example, Mr. Felix Chavez, he has joined us from Philippines. We are having Mr. Dr. Dinesh Jaiswal, who is a very renowned consultant, pharmaceutical consultant from the New York. We'll also be joined by Professor G.R. Sinha, who is a professor at the Myanmar Institute of Information Technology at Myanmar. We'll be joined by Dr. Bajaj from IITM. We'll be joined by Professor G.D. Sharma, who is the Vice Chancellor at the University of Science and Technology in Meghalaya. We'll be joined by Dean Dr. Mona Purohit, who is the Dean and Head and Professor of the Barkatullah University, and also Dr. Saket Jeswani, who is at OP Jindal University. And also, what is wonderful, that we have received very good number of papers, as I said, from our various contributors. So it is our firm belief that under the very kind guidance of our chairman and our vice chairman, and very importantly, our very respected vice chancellor, because they are the people who have been guiding us, who have been telling us to do even better in our activities. For example, today you all know that it goes to the credit of our esteemed Vice Chancellor that we are one of the important part of the Indian technical education system, because ICET considers the CSV2 as a very important university, and the various activities they take the help of CSV2 and TechQuip activities which have been undergoing. Credit goes to our esteemed Vice Chancellor. So what we believe now today on this international conference, that science, technology, pharmacy, commerce, science, arts, law, these all should lead to the development of that knowledge which should help the common people also. We should bring out the disruptive knowledge, a new knowledge we should bring something new to us, to our country, our countrymen, our people, and also to the world also. And I'm very sure that our conference, where all the members have worked very hard, they would be able to bring this kind of a new urge. It will be starting, and we are sure that we'll be following this international conference every year, and every year we are going to make it even better. So as I told, that in spite of the problems, initial hiccups, the corona, and also we are our own conference hall, which is undergoing ultra-modern modification, that also will be very soon available. I'm very sure that our program will be even better in years to come. So I welcome all the guests over here, both online and offline, and I wish that our interactions should be bringing the laurels to our researchers, our students, our institutions, and most importantly, to Chhattisgarh and to India. Jai Chhattisgarh, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, Director Sir, for addressing our viewers present online and offline. Now, proceeding with the program. Now, we will be interacting with the person, and the person who will be addressing us is a very dynamic personality. He is Shri Ankit Jain, Vice Chairman and the leading businessman of the state. Shri Ankit Jain is the second generation who is committed in taking legacy of Mahavir Group to new heights. Shri Ankit Jain is the visionary under whose aegis LCIT Group of Institution is making its name in the field of quality education provider. He knows how to pace with time and set the benchmarks fighting the odds. Shri Jain has completed his bachelor's in business studies from Lancaster University, England, and master's in global management from Thunderbird School of Global Management, USA. He has worked for a Fortune 500 company, Peabody Energy in USA, gaining outstanding feedback from seniors. His acumen in statistical analysis and analytical conceptualization made the LCIT Engineering College to diversify and flourish into LCIT Group of Institutions, which is now catering quality education to more than 4,000 students in its 5 various institutions in a huge 30-acre campus at Bilaspur. His visionary approach gets its root from his various roles of owner and leadership in various business office, namely coal, mining trade, transport, automobile, power generation, and many more. We are blessed to have a youth role model with us walking here. Over to Ankit sir.
A very good morning to one and all. I would like to start by congratulating LCIT Group of Institutions for organizing the International Conference on Emerging Trends in Multidisciplinary Research and Innovation. I would like to start by saying that the nature of higher education has evolved from a mere transfer of knowledge from academicians to students to rather a collaboration between the two and industry experts to come up with breakthrough business ideas and ways to improve the world. The biggest example of that was seen when uh, Jenner Institute and University of Oxford collaborated with AstraZeneca to come up with Covishield, and I'm sure we all have experienced and have been part of that collaboration, and it has benefited the society at large. My Today I would like to talk about research and innovation more along the lines of business, and I would like to start by talking about uh, businesses such as Amazon, which spends about 12.72% of their total revenue, which comes up to about $22.62 billion, which they spend on research. So, research is really shaping our lives and coming up with ideas which makes any business very efficient and at the same time extremely agile to fulfill the needs of everyone. A lot of great business ideas and very aspiring business ideas, such as hyperlocal, are based on the white papers released. And a lot of businessmen, entrepreneurs are taking up that idea and turning it into successful business ventures. For instance, if Hyperloop were to come up, it will definitely reduce the carbon emission and at the same time reduce the time required to travel from one city to another. At the same time, the concept of first principles has also picked up with the huge success of Tesla and SpaceX, which are really defining and emphasizing the importance of research in today's world. Uh, I really feel that this conference is the is the right step towards uh, our endeavor to recognize the importance of research and to help our students learn and excel in their lives. With that, I look forward to listening to a great set of speakers which we've lined up, and uh, and I hope this is extremely beneficial to our students as well. Uh, so, with that, I look forward to the conference. Thank you.
थैंक यू अंकित सर हमारे ऑडियंस को एड्रेस करने के लिए और इतनी अच्छी बातें बताने के लिए। आइए कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हैं और अब हम बात करते हैं हमारे माननीय प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर एम के वर्मा जी की, जो कि कुलपति हैं छत्तीसगढ़ स्वामी विवेकानंद टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी भिलाई के। आपके शैक्षणिक कैरियर के विषय में बताना चाहती हूँ कि आपने मैक भोपाल, अब मैनेट भोपाल से इंजीनियरिंग में स्नातक रहे हैं। आपने एमटेक की डिग्री में भी उसी प्रतिष्ठित संस्थान से संपन्न की है। डॉक्टर एम के वर्मा एक पूर्ण इंजीनियरिंग शिक्षण पेशेवर हैं। आप एनआईटी रायपुर के सिविल इंजीनियरिंग विभाग में एक प्रोफेसर हैं और आप एनआईटी रायपुर में एचडी सिविल और एक डीन के रूप में भी अपने शानदार कार्यप्रणाली के लिए भी विख्यात हैं। डॉक्टर एम के वर्मा ने कई पीएचडी छात्रों का मार्गदर्शन किया है और कुलपति के मानद कार्य को में व्यस्त होने के बावजूद वे अभी भी कई लोगों का मार्गदर्शन कर रहे हैं। वर्तमान में वे अपने अधीन 6 पीएचडी छात्रों का मार्गदर्शन कर रहे हैं और उन्होंने 65 से अधिक एमटेक छात्रों का मार्गदर्शन किया है। आपके द्वारा प्रकाशित कुल शोध पत्र 250 से अधिक हैं और सभी शोध पत्र कई प्रतिष्ठित अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पत्रिकाओं, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलनों, राष्ट्रीय पत्रिकाओं और राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलनों में प्रकाशित हुए हैं। उन्होंने इंजीनियरिंग और विभिन्न विषयों पर विभिन्न प्रतिष्ठित प्रकाशनों में प्रकाशित हुई 10 पुस्तकें भी लिखी हैं। आपको एक पेटेंट प्राप्त है तथा 3 और पेटेंट प्रक्रियाधीन हैं। आप एक मास्टर लीडर और एक अद्भुत नेतृत्व क्षमता रखते हैं। आपके पास टीम वर्क, सामूहिक कार्य संपन्न करने में उत्कृष्टता है। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं डॉक्टर एम के वर्मा सर से निवेदन करती हूं कि वो अपने विचार आप सभी के साथ साझा करें।
Thank you, Dr. Tripti. Today is very special occasion for that institute and very nicely resembled with the first launching of first satellite of our country, 19th April, by your director, Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey sir, who used to remind us the capacity of country, scientific capacity of the country, and the potential of all our institutions, and ultimately it is the faculty and the students and researchers. In the today's function, it gives me a pleasure to hear about Mr. Ankit Jain and his exposure. Really, it matters a lot for a leader of a group, LCIT, that how the institute can be raised up. By his deliberations, I could understood that he is having an honor and understanding about the research, and that's why I do have raised my deliberations. I do have that he is having an honor and understanding about the research, and that's why I do have raised my. Some echo is coming up. I do have. Kindly address the problem. Then I will continue. Some echo is coming up. Kindly address the problem. No, sir. The sound is fine, sir. Then I will continue. Yes, sir. Is it okay now?
Sir, kindly continue. It's all fine.
Is it okay now? Is it okay now? But I am getting
Yes, sir,
double
it's all
sound.
fine, sir. Please continue.
It's fine. Okay. So that is how his
Yes, sir.
awareness and importance of research will definitely boosting the development of the institute, and that gives me a ray of hope that this institute will be coming up with innovation and research activities significantly in the coming years. This particular topic, which has been taken up, it is the most relevant topic whenever we talk about multidisciplinary. I just remind about the developmental stages of our education, where we had gone for started our journey from holistic knowledge. In the Gurukul, everything was being taught, whether it is social behavior, whether it is law, whether it is niti, whether it is science, technology, armory, whatever it is there. Everything was being taught in totality. It was an integrated way of education. Then, after when, with the advent of our scientific development, others, we had come up with specialization, super specialization. Now, again, in the super specialization era, we are feeling that we had come far away from the total or integrated way of education. And that's why the education in its integrated manner is very important, that is being felt now, and particularly in the field of technology after coming up of IoT, Internet of Things, IT, and electronics and communication. We are able to encroach by this science to every field of the life, every walk of the life, whether it is social, whether it is commerce, whether it is business, whether it is agriculture, whatever the walk of life is there, everywhere intervention and support of new development in the field of IT and IoT is leading nowadays. The pace of development of technology is very high at present, and every 18 months we are coming across a new technology which is replacing or ready to replace the previous one. So this is the pace of change of technology, and here we need to have a synchronization of application of these technologies in various facets of life. That means multidisciplinary research and innovation. So research and innovation which is being taken place in the multidisciplinary manner, its application is the most important. That aspect is also a responsibility of technocrats and educational institutes and industries. How the applications is being taken with respect to the pace of change of technology, which I mentioned, it is changing every 18 months. So anyway, the present topic where we also expect that multidisciplinary innovation and research, how it can be inculcated and imbibed into the technology, and later on this imbibement may got its application in various facets of life. So again, we are going back towards the integration of knowledge, towards the integration of application of the knowledge, towards the integration of research and innovation. In the earlier days, research and innovation was coming out of the need of the hours, need of the life. At present also, we are having the same philosophy that necessity is mother of all the innovation, but at the same time, we are able to foresee the futuristic requirement and development of technology. For example, metaverse is the coming era technology where we have to move with all virtual world. And today itself, I was going through one development of science and technology that was related with holoporting. Holoporting means they had NASA has conducted an example, an experiment that the scientist sitting at the NASA on the planet of Earth, they had projected with all their 3D and all virtual and talking images, and they had interacted with the scientists who are living at Space Center. So this is in its initial stages, but the science is moving towards that, where I can say that the need is not the necessary for innovation. It is the imagination how forward we can take up applications and development of our science and technology. So this particular holoporting technology, which is demonstrated successfully in its initial stages, is giving us an era of old and oldest, where the God and everybody, God was having the capacity to appear or disappear from any place. Like that, the science and technology, we are also going to achieve the similar type of virtuality in reality, where we can talk, interact, and even discuss and guide to the scientist. So this is how the integration of all the technologies, all the sciences, whether it is social science, whether it is commercial science, whether it is technology, and no need to say all the engineering can be basketed in one basket only. So this is how the future of science and technology is there, and where we need to have research and innovation as per the need of the society, as per the foresighted need of the society. And for this particular development of thoughts and imagination, this particular international conference will be a means which will be definitely supporting and guiding to our researchers and faculty towards the requirement of futuristic technology and their development and application for the benefit of the society. With this, I extend my best wishes for every success of this particular international conferences, and wish to express gratitude on behalf of university to the experts who are coming up with their latest knowledge, and they will be sharing, and interaction part will be definitely benefit for guiding to our researchers and faculty members. And most important of any conference is the listener, the participants. It is always expected that participants should be sincere enough listening the things thinking over the facts which they are coming across and coming up with the new ideas. So most important component of this stakeholder is the participants. And if participants are very curative, definitely the advantage of this particular conference will be proportionate to the awareness and curativeness of our participants. So it is my sincere urge with my confidence to the participants that they will be taking all possible advantages of the coming 2 days discussions area of science and technology, their innovation and research. With this expectation, I extend my best wishes for every success of this particular international conference. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, Dr. M.K. Verma, sir, Vice Chancellor, CSV2, to address all our participants and the dignitaries who are connected with us online and offline. I would also extend thanks to Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey and Sri Ankit Jain for addressing our viewers and participants. Moving ahead, now one of the very important part of the program, that is a release of our abstract book. We'll proceed towards the release of abstract book. I would request all the dignitaries over here for the release. Thank you all the dignitaries for the successful release of abstract book. Moving ahead with the program, we have with us uh, a very keynote speaker, Dr. Dinesh Jaiswal. The topic he'll be delivering today is multidisciplinary role of pharmaceutical industry. But moving ahead, by address of by him, we'll get to know about Dr. Dinesh Jaiswal. Dr. Dinesh Jaiswal is a focused, dedicated, and highly motivated professional with an unparalleled experience of more than 30 years in both the pharmaceutical industry and the academic settings. He is currently working as an independent consultant since June 2013 and supported a variety of projects and companies related to business development for API and drug in solid and parenteral. After obtaining B Pharma, M Pharma, and PhD in pharmaceutics from Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, India, he has served as a faculty in Institute of Technology, BHU, Varanasi, India, and
Hello.
as scientist in various
Yes,
pharmaceutical
I'm
industries
ready.
such
Huh?
as Quad Pharmaceutical,
Hello, I'm Dinesh.
ISTGAF, MOBA Pharmaceutical Corporation. In addition, he also
Hello.
worked
Very
in
soon I will
Forest
share my slides.
Laboratories
Okay.
as director, where he was responsible for the clinical supply coordination, the stability
Okay.
administration, and contributed significantly to bring Lexapro, Linzess, and Nemenda to market. Furthermore, he has made significant contributions by implementing new ideas, continuously motivating everyone, fostering a spirit of loyalty, and always supporting the goals and welfare of the organization. In his professional tenure, he has successfully filed a patent, published and reviewed several articles in reputed high impact international journals, supported the filing of more than 20 ANDAs, and developed CM and CS for more than 7 launched products. Furthermore, he has delivered several invited talks and presented posters at several conferences and meetings globally. He was also the chairman of the organizing committee, honorable guest speaker of Society of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, SPER, and successfully organized 6th Annual International Conference and Exhibition held in March 2017 at Jaipur National University, Jaipur, India. He worked with SPER and to not only promote the ethical standard of pharmacy, but also to raise the growth, development, and betterment of pharmacy arena. Dr. Jaiswal is actively affiliated with American Association of Pharmaceutical Scientists, AAPS, for more than 25 years and serves as a reviewer of journal articles related to pharmaceutical technology. He was also a member of Parenteral Drug Association, PDA, and the International Society of Pharmaceutical Engineers, ISPE. Despite living abroad, he has continued his association with universities in India by serving on PhD examination committee of doctoral students in India. He was a key person to strengthen the ties between alumni, students, faculties, and BHU officials to bring all the beautiful things come together. Owing to his continuous effort towards the university,
Hello.
he
Yes.
was an honored and distinguished alumnus for BHU Varanasi, India in 2007. Now, I would request Dr. Dinesh
Okay.
Jaiswal to
Okay.
address all our members present and the
Thank you.
participant present online and offline. Over to you, sir.
Can you see my screen? Good morning to you all. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir, we can see the screen, sir. Yes, sir,
Okay.
we can see the screen.
Okay.
Yes, sir, we could see the screen. You may begin, sir.
Okay.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning to you
Yes,
all.
sir.
And I'm calling from New York, and time is about 1 o'clock in the morning. If anything, I will miss the please. I sincerely apologize for that one. And today my topic is multidisciplinary role of pharmaceutical industry. And just I would like to say that pharmaceutical industry needs everyone, engineers, lawyers, MBA, and all those things, which I'll discuss more detail. but not in the 45 minutes. It's not possible to discuss all those things in detail, but still I will focus some of the things. This is the outline of my presentations, the background. I will discuss something background and key components, role of a team leader, but team leader is also very important in every phase of life. And sometimes site visits and meetings. Suppose some pharmaceutical industry, they don't have facilities, they have to manufacture some other places. At that time, I will encourage the people to site visits and meeting, which I will discuss more in detail in my later part of my presentations. And any success will get some differences and how to overcome for these problems. And as mentioned, the teamwork is very important. And also, I will give some examples. But clinical trial material is not possible to discuss it here today, but I will discuss some example with a global stability program and packaging. And finally, I will conclude my. And suppose less problem in manufacturing. Suppose if you are getting a product, so your product should be in such a way the R&D should work in such a way so that they should get less problem in the manufacturing area. And always we have to be prepared to implementations of new technology, because the pharmaceutical industry is a very, very highly regulated industry and very honest things. And we have to maintain that one. We have to be ready to implement any new technology when needed. And finally, documentation is very important in pharmaceutical industry. Suppose you got any product and some problems will come. Only documents, any FDA audit, any other audit will come, then we have to present the documentation so that they can make a judgment on that one. The CGMP, good manufacturing practice, and we have to routine follow-up with any projects and coordination with various departments. The pharmaceutical industry has got so many departments. R&D is the more responsible for that one. Then they have to work with quality control, quality assurance, regulatory, CMC, marketing. Marketing is a very, very powerful department in the industry. So we cannot fight, we always have to coordinate with marketing. And let me tell you regarding importance of pharmacy. I will tell you something about the competent pharmacist, and then after that I will tell you something about pharmacy educational institution. I'm not against with the doctors, and the doctors are very good for diagnosis of the disease. But if pharmaceutical industry is not going to manufacture any medicine, the problem is doctor cannot do anything. That's why the pharmacy industry is very important. A competent pharmacist is capable of conferring with the physicians concerning the care and treatment of a patient. Pharmacists also know the knowledge of the drugs that may be used in the treatment of the patient's disease state, their mechanism of actions, their commercial drug combinations, and dosage form. Pharmacist also knows the appropriate use and doses for the drug being taken. And pharmacist also knows very well what products might interact adversely with such therapy, and also to improve the convenience of administrations and the overall patient's care. All this information pharmacists train and provide the training to the doctors. And pharmacists able to review any scientific publications related to pharmaceutical fields and be able to summarize the practical implications of the findings. Pharmacists specialists on the stability characteristics and storage requirements of drug products. Now let me tell you pharmacy educational institution. Pharmacy educational institutions prepare the students with a very basic technological background and knowledge of career opportunities. The pharmacy teaching institution's significant role is to broaden the student career horizons and to influence the futures of the professions. Each job setting is unique, requiring different sets of skills and talents. So there should be a clear distinctions between education and practice in the field. One of the fields we have chosen is pharmaceutical industry. The question that is always asked, are today's pharmacy age students fully prepared to handle drug manufacturing when they graduate? We do not just answer, but have made an attempt in these directions by bringing out the proceedings and the resolutions passed in the seminar, which was specifically conducted on the aspects. The deliberations and discussions also made attempts which was specifically conducted on the aspects. The deliberations and discussions also made attempt to interrelate industry with teaching and research. No doubt, pharmacy education has to take a great lead in this task. However, we feel that there must be a workable plan developed in concert with all those linked with professions of pharmacy. These are the key components for the any industry. First, we have to communicate very well. We have to plan, and demonstration is also a part of that one. And as I mentioned before, documentations. Role, let me tell you regarding the role of team leader. Team leader should be responsible and should be very knowledgeable, not like a leader. uh, the person should know each and every part of the projects. Team leader must ensure that everyone on the team understands their role. If the team leader is not knowledgeable, he cannot understand their role. So that he must be everyone on the team understand their role. Tasks get done in a very timely manner because, as I mentioned, pharmaceutical industry always the time is very needed. Suppose if you are doing any clinical trial materials, patients are ready, and if you cannot release the product in a very timely manner, there is a lot of problem and millions of dollars the company will lose. And team leader, as I mentioned, should be well organized, understanding the process involved, and must motivate the team. And he should motivate, he should not criticize anyone. He should, every human being has got some positive and negative points. The team leader should encourage his positive points, forget about his negative point, and provide positive influences and task functions highlighting priorities. And at the same time, status report, maintain a status report for each product. Any pharmaceutical industry works for so many projects at a time 10 or 12 projects, that they have to maintain, all the team leaders should maintain the status reports whenever is needed. Encourage team members and manage their activities. And there has to be coaching ability, teaching abilities should be there when needed. And speak separately. In any industry, will find a troublemaker. The first of the team leaders should not discuss anything in front of everybody. If needed, speak to the director of the team member that is not performing or when activities are sliding. He should talk, or he or she should talk separately, and still it is not problem is not solving. We can show the road, the door of the company, and resolve conflicts. As I mentioned that when some pharmaceutical industry, they don't have all the facilities in the team, so that they have to work for them outside. That they so team members should not simply paper transfer, they should visit and encourage to make site visits while products being manufactured, because the company has to be responsible. They should not blame the other company where they are manufacturing, so that they should visit the and package and test it at the transfer site, and gain at the same time you can gain experience to visit the transfer site, well worth the time and effort with the products and methods from the associates that know the product best. And this is a very common practice for the meetings, so we have to prepare the agendas should be issued well in advance, and allows the team to stay focused and helpful in time management. As I mentioned, the time is also very important in pharmaceutical industry, and very useful to have regular meetings where team members can report on the progress of each activity stacks. And minutes of the meeting should be issued within a week. I mentioned here within a week, but definitely the minutes of the meeting should be issued on the same day or next day, so that people should be familiar with what happened in the meetings. And minutes and agenda should also be sent to the top management. And sometimes you will find differences, sorry, to develop any product. Sometimes you will develop differences in the society and differences in the company, which I'll discuss a little bit in that here. Sometimes differences in society due to culture, language, philosophy, structure, regulations, budgets, and market activity. Culture means so that everyone should praise the culture. They should not criticize any one culture. We should honor all the languages. At any kind of language, you have to respect each and every language. The problem is that we should not criticize to anyone for all those things. So that otherwise it's very difficult to solve the differences. We have to respect the culture, we have to respect the language, philosophy, structure, regulations, budget, and market activity. Suppose how to come to overcoming difference in the society. As I mentioned, learn about the culture. We have to learn the culture. Suppose in India, if we are manufacturing any product in the south and we go to the north, definitely we'll find some culture. Here in the USA also, suppose if we are making any product in this country, suppose due to sending any region, we have to go some other country. We should know the culture. We should not criticize and pick a common language for the projects, but learn some of the local phrases. If you can talk to the go to other facility, if you can tell something local phrases, the employees will be very happy. And meet your counterparts in the person and build trust with them. So the trust is also very important so that they depend on you and whatever you are telling, they should trust on that one. Understand the other organizational structure. Each and every company has a different organizational structure. You should understand that one. The bottom line, have an open mind. Do not be afraid to use common sense. And suppose the differences in the company, scientific, discovering, learning, and tight controls and marketing demand. And sometimes scientific, as I mentioned that one, in the pharmaceutical R&D is the most important thing. They have to take the blame anything goes wrong, but they should not criticize. And as I mentioned before, pharmaceutical industry is full of different various departments. They have to make and they have to make it learn to the quality control. They have to convince quality control and quality assurance because not product will be released without the quality assurance signatures. And sometimes for the discovering these differences may can come, learning, and sometimes a very tight control also the differences will come, and sometimes marketing demand. And difference in the quality control assurance, as I mentioned, the compliance issue, because as I mentioned, the pharmaceutical industry, very highly regulated industry, to have to follow all the compliance, regulatory, purchasing sometimes, and manufacturing and analytical, etc. And sometimes you have to utilize a cross-function team, educate other team members. So the R&D is the responsible. And let me tell you, R&D is why so important. Suppose sometimes R&D scientists and sometimes quality assurance director. The R&D scientist should not mean that he is a director, I am the scientist, because R&D scientist is getting every time in each and every company more money than quality control and quality assurance director. They should not underestimate themselves because R&D, they are getting more money, more stock options, and all the other facilities. The R&D scientist is very important. They never underestimate themselves. And prepare a project plan together. And we have to always involve marketing because I told you, marketing is very important. We cannot differentiate with the marketing. We cannot argue with marketing. One time, let me tell you a short experience because the company developed each and everything, but they did not involve marketing in the beginning, and they developed the product in a round bottle. Then marketing, no, they don't want to sell the product, they want in a square bottle. Then that industry has to work all the stability data in the square bottles. So that's why I'm telling you that that's a simple example. Marketing in any project, you always involve marketing to begin with. Development approach, operation approach, timelines, as I mentioned, and any other related issues. And I mentioned that teamwork is also very important. Together, everyone achieve more. No person should say that department develops a product. That is all the teamwork. Everyone has got the responsibility and they put that one. Successful teamwork depends on strong leadership. We have to leadership should be strong, clear role and responsibility, skills, technical organizations, communications, problem solving, and we have to make a trust. And teamwork also continues. We have to be very professional skills and human relations, resourcefulness. Suppose sometimes a boss or a senior management asks you something to do something, they never say no. You don't mention that it is not my responsibility. He thinks the person is, he or she thinks the person is responsible. He can find out. We go to the other department, find it out, what are the things, and deliver to that one. They never ever say no to anyone. And then we have to be management knowledge, analytical approach to any problem, and we have to develop confidence, and always you have to be youthfulness. So that you don't think that I'm an old guy, I cannot do something like that. Always you have to maintain your youthfulness. And the critical factors are clear projective objectives. You have to maintain strong leadership, minimizations of defensive attitude. And that's why I also want to tell, don't try to, okay, this is not my fault, I did not do that one, I did not get so much budget, something like that. Always you have to be positive. And sometimes, yes, you have to tell, and well in advance you have to tell, you need more resources. The bottom line is to not to make any avoid defensive attitude and appreciation of culture differences and keeping ego outside the door. Or also some ego and attitude, don't bring it over here. And but you have to respect each and every, even a technician is more knowledgeable, you can get respect, you should get respect to them also. Self-awareness, responsibility, members with motivations and support, and definitely we need a support from the top management. Team motivation is also one-on-one discussions. Suppose you have to any problem, you can discuss person to person, one to one, and celebrate completions of any key activities. Suppose if you are any activities accomplished, you have to celebrate and recognize for a job well done to each individual. And show respect no matter what level. As I told you, sometimes the technicians also, you can learn from that. And especially myself, when I was going to the making a tablet or injection, I learned so many things from my technicians because they are making the product and they sometimes they give me good advice and I learn from them because they are experienced person in that area. You have to always to respect them and ensure good team members, team leader relationship. And dedicated members cannot just yes by also. Many times you'll find they say, oh yes sir, yes sir. That is also not good. Because suppose if I'm a director and any person is telling yes and yes, my employees, then I have to tell, okay, this is my suggestions. Either you have to take it, otherwise something goes wrong, you will be the responsible. So sometimes you should not encourage every time yes person. And members cannot just give completion dates. Dates must be realistic and doable, as I mentioned, very time-sensitive things. And let me something about research and intellectual property, R&D. As I mentioned, the pharmaceutical industry, all kinds of people over there. They need, of course, a pharmaceutical background. They need some patent or lawyers also. But in the law company, we don't need pharmacists. But in the pharmaceutical industry, we need lawyers. We need engineers. That's why pharmaceutical industry is very important. And something I will discuss about the future of pharmaceutical industry. Let me tell you something about R&D. Innovations in pharmaceutical research and is aimed at providing solutions to effectively satisfy medical needs that have not yet been met. This goal encourages researchers to develop and identify new targets for drugs. However, despite the tremendous advances now being made in medical science, an active substance cannot meet the needs of the patient without an appropriate formulation. Sometimes you check what formulation will be good for that particular disease, either tablet injections or any other even solutions. There is an intense competition from companies to successfully launch innovative new drugs. This will characterize how they use drug delivery systems. With the average cost of bringing each new molecular entity to market estimated at US 1 billion, this represents a tremendous R&D challenge. This figure is required to bring new product to market. Also includes a significant contribution from the cost of all new products that failed during the R&D process. Now, let me tell you something about the patents, because we are an attorney to save the company and to bring more money for that one. The patents are in fact required to provide the incentives to undertake the costly research and development needed to develop products to treat disease. A patent is a right to prevent unauthorized copying of a patented invention for a short period in order to provide the owner of the patent with an opportunity to obtain a return from the invention. In the innovative sector of the pharmaceutical industry, where a new pharmaceutical is costly to invent, develop, and then market, yet generally easy and inexpensive to copy, a strong patent right is absolutely essential. Without such a patent right, there would be no encouragement to take the financial risks to produce a medicine that could be copied and immediately marketed by others who have not taken the same risks. It is useful to consider the financial life cycle of a new medicine. Some basic research occurs before any patent filing because it is necessary to understand a disease mechanism before trying to discover compounds that might be beneficial in treating that disease. After patent filing on a promising new potential pharmaceutical, further work is carried out on basic efficacy and safety, generally through in vitro testing. Based on this one, you can figure out why brand name is so expensive. If the potential pharmaceutical still shows promise and only it is the subject of strong patent protections, it will enter the more costly development phase. This will include, for example, further in vitro and in vivo testing, safety and efficacy, etc. Testing formulations, research to determine the product presentations to be marketed, and manufacturing process, research to determine the manufacturing route, productions, plant engineering, and clinical trials. Even before applications for marketing approval to regulatory bodies in each potential market can be made. All of these stages account for further cash flow, and it is well known that the cost of a new pharmaceutical is in $1 million and takes about 10 to 12 years, 10 or more years to reach first marketing. Even after marketing, the innovator continues with the development and monitors the effects of the pharmaceutical, and all of which incur cost. That's why, as I mentioned before, that the brand name is expensive because they got the patent, and any industry is working for more than 10 products, and the pharmaceutical industry, the big company, they are very happy with get the one product so that they can get all the money back. In that one, the lawyers, they get the patent for that one. Positive will increase the continue until other innovative competitive products are marketed and until the patent expires. The increase in the period of positive cash flow, mainly from patented products, is used to fund further research, which hopefully leads to a new pharmaceutical and possibly to other indications that can be treated by that pharmaceutical product. And the future of pharmaceutical industry, as I mentioned, we have to always be prepared to implement new technology. New technology and innovative thinking are profoundly changing the pharmaceutical drug production industry. What will be the factory of the future with respect to its structure, technology, process, and drug product delivered to patent? While enables will manufacturers need to term of strategy, leadership, employees skills, IT. In the pharmaceutical industry also need the IT background also. And that's why I will encourage all the pharmaceutical institutions should provide a course now for the IT also. IT infrastructures, regulatory oversights, and supplies to make that a reality. The factory of future is an innovative vision on how manufacturers should enhance production by transforming manufacturing in three dimensions: plant structures, plant digitalization, and plant process. We need engineers also, and continuous improvement. Manufacturers are using a wide variety of new technology to perform more value adding activities and to continuously improve production process, implementing software that analyzes data about the production in real time. The software monitors process and recognizes trends. Employees' skills, although the greater use of robotics and computerizations will reduce the number of positions on the production line, but the number of the manufacturing jobs requiring skills in automations control, IT, and the data science will increase. That's why IT is also very important in pharmaceutical industry. It is expected that the pharmaceutical industry will employ more workers with automations control, IT skills, need more workers with competencies in maintenance and quality control. Let me tell you something, the packaging process and why packaging is more important in the pharmaceutical industry, because it's not possible for me to discuss everything, but definitely let me tell you with a simple thing, the packaging, so a small thing, don't think that packaging is also done immediately, something to package something like that. In our everyday life, we are surrounded by packaged goods to the extent that packaging is taken for granted, its presence hardly noticed. Pharmaceutical products are no exceptions, and packaging plays a vital role. First and foremost, packaging must contain the product. This means preventing it from leaking, which could damage neighboring goods and render the leaking pack itself unusable. Packaging has to protect and preserve the product against the hazards that will be encountered throughout its life cycle, from the point of productions and packaging to dispensing, sell to use product, and finally disposal of the packaging by the end user. Most damage occurs in the storage, handling, and transportation environment. The more handling stages there are, the greater likelihood of product damage and the greater the need for protective packaging. Pharmaceutical products in particular are subject to multiple handling through wholesale, distributor, pharmacies, and retailers. Packaging has a key role to play in providing information about the product, particularly in the pharmaceutical sector. Legislations demands that increasing amounts of information must be supplied, and the packaging is usually the only medium available for this. Information on the usage and dosage is obviously critical here, and accuracy of the information along with in-built checking system is vital. Let me discuss some of the slides over here. The objective is to achieve a successful packaging process from the very early development stage to market the product. So always you have to involve marketing people to begin with. And it is not easy to package anything. We have to develop from which package material the product is stable. To promote effective communications between R&D, commercialization of packaging. Commercialization packaging, because you have to be familiar with the commercialization, because what kind of equipments they have, you have to always talk with the commercial packaging group, and that's why the engineers are also needed over there. And namely, marketing and sales provide a clear, concise directions to obtain positive results and work effectively as a group with various departments to achieve the common goals. Considering the clear concept and product integrity, the R&D packaging development groups, as I mentioned, R&D is always be responsible for that one. And the packaging and development group will generate the stability data based on the various experimental packaging design. It is not possible to explain the whole thing here. It takes more time. Sometimes your institute will invite me for a couple of weeks, then I will explain more details for each and every classes for at least 2 weeks. And R&D will recommend the selected container closure system to the commercial packaging group after careful evaluations of the stability data. R&D will also provide a placebo trade sample to the commercial packaging group along with and weight of the tablets to determine the fill volume, etc. So that they can start the work in the very beginning. That's why you have to give the placebo tablets. The commercial packaging group will determine the fill volume of the container closure system based on the available inventory, machinery, and equipment, etc. So that when R&D will develop any product, they should work with the commercial group, what kind of equipments they have, so that we should develop your packaging materials in that particular. If it is not possible, then you have to go outside it, but it will cost more money. After approval from commercial packaging group, the packaging request order will be initiated by R&D, and I will show you some examples. These are some examples of packaging. It depends on the company, so that you have the name of the product, descriptions, total number of batches, theoretical tablet weight, strain, descriptions of the bottle. You have to write very clearly, round or clear, what kind of packaging material is there, cap is there, we are adding desiccants or not, is it needed or not. We have to tell bottle fill volume, how much air space should be there, total number of bottles required, etc. And then packaging authorizations also. And based upon the approval packaging information, the packaging operations will be conducted by the commercial packaging group or by outsourcing. But try to maintain the same company, otherwise outsourcing is always expensive things. The R&D group will be responsible for releasing all the related container closure system to satisfy the NDA new drug applications requirements, and R&D will be responsible to collect the certificate of analysis along with the vendor certificate of compliance, etc., and all related documents. This is the simple example of the packaging information, packaging parameters for bottles and for caps. So you have to write the time, who is the description, what is the description, who is the manufacturer, size, inner liner, induction seal, all those things, what kind of reagent they are using, and the colorant. And sometimes you have to put the real information in details also, and sometimes blister, sometimes blister. In US it's not possible, not very popular, but in India, sometimes blister is also, what kind of blister is a monolaminate, bilaminate, or trilaminate. It depends on the product stability and all those things. But we have to mention what kind of film, what kind of foil you are using, and then after that you can get the approval from R&D, commercial packaging, marketing, and sales. And let me tell you, if the product is not stable, and suppose that you have to sell the product outside your country, then we have to maintain the global stability program. Some of the things I will discuss over here. And this is the storage condition for the long-term, intermediate, and accelerated. And that is the requirement for the FDA guidelines. What is the law? What it should be the storage condition for the long-term? What is the intermediate and accelerated? Suppose sometimes data needed. For accelerated condition, we have data 3 to 6 months that will go to a product is stable and 2 years. And these are the chart, which is not possible to discuss everything in here, but these are the country requirements, what kind of temperature we needed it based on that one temperature and all those things. And that's the climatic zones, that's changing every time. First time we have the climatic zone 1, that is the temperature, then climatic zone 2, 3, and 4A and 4B. It depends on the where the country is very hot and dry, hot and humid, hot, very humid, what kind of temperature the product should be stable in that particular conditions. And we have to make the stability protocol setup, educations of all NDA and clinical support protocols, review protocol to evaluate and allocate samples needed for a duration of a study, the preparation of a set of activities, then samples, bin levels, we should not be contaminate all those things, bin levels for stability setup, review packaging documentations to verify correct samples are received. Because each and every sample is very responsible. We have to not very abruptly, we have to how many samples we are putting in the chamber. Each sample is labeled with the sample labels and time zero determination. Time zero determination is that one, suppose you are making any product, the moment you are mixing your API, the active pharmaceutical ingredient, that is your manufacturing date. But in the stability, within a month, we should put on the chamber and all those things after putting labeling and all those things. Even in a month, we should that one, and then stability start time zero at that time. and generate pull list and labels. Suppose if we have to pull the samples in 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months, we have to put a pull list and labels. So scheduled samples are pulled, and each sample is labeled with label containing study ID number. It depends on the company, and required samples are submitted to the lab. Suppose quality control, they need about 60 tablets or 100 tablets, we have to give to them. Sometimes they fail in the study, that we have to be always ready to give. The optional samples are submitted upon request, but we have to be documented well. And then stability chamber sample consolidations, destructions, we have to pick a record on that one. Stability inventory management, identify samples for destructions based on completions or termination of stability protocol. Stability chamber charts, we have to maintain the chart. Let me show you some example. These are the chart. We have to show the any investigation your chamber running is good. Suppose due to some load shedding, temperature got fluctuated, we have to find it out. And suppose due to tremendous load shedding, then the protocol should be set to send to the other company, other sites. We have to be prepared for that one. So sample should be sent to other facility. Then we have to test for that period. So you have to maintain the chart when so that FDA and any auditor will come. We have to show the chart that your chamber is running continuously without having any problem. Finally, I will conclude. In order to ensure the successful launch of a new pharmaceutical product, it is imperative that a complete necessary technology be accomplished. Rational and scientific support for the specification and process that are established for each product should be available. FDA expects that the company will have to develop data and all reports, support all relevant process and testing, etc. And FDA is especially interested reviewing the supporting data and informations about changes that have been made at each phase of the transition from R&D to commercial scale. So we are getting approval based on that and should not make any changes on that one. FDA will see. For example, establishing and revising specifications, scale of batch size, modifications to the method, manufacturers, and composition of finished products. And mutual understanding and strong communications between the department involved is essential. Flexibility on each side is also crucial when adjustments are necessary. Developing a process for commercializations of the product into the market is important, and positive communications among the group is the key for a successful process. Yes, any question, please? Hello? Hello?
So we have no questions.
No questions. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for throwing light on how multidisciplinary roles plays a very crucial role in R&D, patents, recruitment, and many more in pharmaceutical industry. Thank you so much for addressing all the participants present online and offline. Thank you so much, sir. Moving forward, we have our next guest speaker, Dr. Varun Banraj. And before he addresses all of you, let me introduce Dr. Bajaj to all of you. Dr. Varun Bajaj is working as an associate professor in the discipline of electronics and communication engineering at Indian Institute of Information Technology, Design and Manufacturing, IIIT DM Jabalpur, India, since July 2021. He has received his PhD degree in discipline of electrical engineering at Indian Institute of Technology, Indore, India in 2014. He has received his MTech degree in honors in microelectronics and VLSI design from Sri Govindam Seksaria Institute of Technology and Science, Indore, India in 2009. His BE degree is in electronics and communication engineering from Rajiv Gandhi Technological University, Bhopal, India in 2006. He is an associate editor of IEEE Sensor Journal, subject editor-in-chief of IET Electronics Letter. He served as subject editor of IET Electronics Letter from November 2018 to June 2020. He has 143 publications, which includes journal papers, 91 journal papers, 31 conference papers, 10 books, 11 book chapters. He has guided seven, where 4 have completed and 3 are in progress, PhD scholars, 7 MTech scholars. He has been listed as world's top 2% researcher or scientist by Stanford University, USA in October 2020-2021. He is a recipient of various reputed national and international awards. His research interests includes biomedical signal processing, AI in healthcare, brain-computer interface, pattern recognition, ECG signal processing. Now I would request Dr. Varun Bajaj to address you all. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Yeah, voice is coming. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. You may continue, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, first of all, I would like to thanks to the organizer, and the conference theme of this conference is as multidisciplinary. So I have chosen a topic which belongs to the multidisciplinary subjects. Like, so the topic of keynote is artificial intelligence application in biomedical systems. So outline of my talk is introduction, then benefits of artificial intelligence, then non-invasive biomedical system, how we can develop the biomedical system non-invasively, then some of the examples of biomedical system, then results, then conclusion, then references. So as we already know, the nowadays healthcare system is essential and very high cost sectors, and it is growing faster than the economy. So the increase the expenditure due to the population growth, aging, disease prevalence and incidence, and it is also due to the demand of increasing the demand of healthcare system and rise the price of the health services and pharmaceutical costs. So that's why the expenditure is increasing day by day in the healthcare system. But in biomedical systems are required multiple information tasks, information processing tasks, where we required to take decisions like in screening and diagnosis, treatment purpose, monitoring of any task, managing the healthcare system. We require to take some decisions. So the healthcare sector, in short, we can say that many sectors in healthcare where we require decision making. So if somewhere you require decision making, then the artificial intelligence can be implanted, or it can be easily used to reduce the cost and increase the efficiency of the system. So like machine and computer program are capable to solve a problem and learning like a human brain. So right now artificial intelligence area is most excited to develop computational approach for automatically sensing any data. So advantage of AI, AI can retain the information. It is become a smarter day by day, and it can improve day by day. So machine do not have susceptibility to sleep prevention, distraction, information overloading, and short-term memory loss. So that these are the advantage of artificial intelligence. So if we talk about the application of artificial intelligence in biomedical, so there are two different type of branches. One is known as virtual branch, another known as physical branch. So there are few advantage of artificial intelligence used in biomedical. First, if we have highly repeated works, so we can use this type of system. It can also empower our doctor, which will give you which will give the fast delivery or more accurate decision making system, augment the professionals, and offering the expertisement and assistant to the physicians. It also can be replaced by the less staffing or medical facility problem. It can also use for reduce the improve the functionality of administrative functions, and it also can be used for managing a time and automatic rescheduling or rescheduling of any any job. So when we talk about the virtual branch, so in a virtual branch there are three different type of programming. So like it's a in this particular branch we use virtual components, so like machine learning or deep learning algorithms or some mathematical tool can be used for decision making. So basically there are three type of machine learning algorithms. One is known as unsupervised. Unsupervised means where we need to find out the pattern. Okay, so similar type of pattern we need to find out, and prior we do not have any prior information. Second is known as supervised, which can use for the classification purpose or prediction purpose for any disease or any physiological symptoms or pathological symptoms. Reinforcement learning can be used for solving any problem. So what are the exactly benefits of artificial intelligence in biomedical? So it can assist the physician. So like clinical decision making, like better clinical decision can be made, like in surgery, where the surgery is required, which particular portion is required, that can be easily identified using artificial intelligence based system. It can replace the human judgment and functional areas of healthcare, like in radiology we can replace the human and we can take decision by using artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence system can be updated by recent information which can be published in journal, textbook and clinical practice without having an extra cost. And the problem of experience and fresh clinician also can be reduced, because the system can be already trained, and 24/7 availability of the expert on this type of by replacing this type of system. Early diagnosis can be possible by using artificial intelligence. Prediction of outcome of any disease as well as treatment also possible by using artificial intelligence. It can reduce the diagnosis and therapeutical error, and increase the safety, and it can reduce the cost also. It can use real time for risk management. It can also help to prediction of any outcome of the health. So if we talk about the physical branch of the artificial intelligence, so a physical branch is known as like a sophisticated robot which can use for the delivery purpose, drug delivery purpose, or it can be used for the surgery purpose. So like in telemedicine, most of the time artificial intelligence based system can be applied or can be used. So this is the example how the robot is applying for robotic surgery, and for monitoring purpose how the robot can be developed. So when we talk about the non-invasive biomedical system, so there are two type of biomedical systems. Non-invasive means the things we are not means we are taking signals or images from the surface of the body. We are not inserting anything in the body. So when we are talking about the invasive biomedical system, means the sample we need to take, we need to insert something in the body and we need to take the sample. But we are talking about the non-invasive biomedical systems, where the sample or data can be acquired by the surface of the body, does not require anything to insert inside the body. So for this, like in medical practice, there are four primary things. One is known as diagnosis, prognosis, treatment, and prevention. So this is one example where we can see that how we can develop non-invasive biomedical system. For this development of non-invasive biomedical system, first we required some data. Data acquisition means we have different type of signals and imaging. So as you already know, in a body we have different type of biomedical signals. So like EEG, which can use for measure the electrical activity of the brain, ECG, which can use for measure the electrical activity of heart, EMG, which is measure the electrical activity of the muscles, like PCG, which known as phonocardiogram, speech signal. So there are different type of signals which are generated from our body, maybe some electrical or some are non-electrical signals, which can use for diagnosis of related to that particular organ, which can access that particular organ. If there is any disease of that particular organ, so by using that particular signal, we can diagnosis or we can predict that disease, the person having that disease or not.
Dr.
There are
Bajaj,
some imaging modalities, like image modality means
Dr.
X-ray.
Bajaj,
Yes, yes.
sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
Your PPT is not visible, sir. Could you please share your PPT because it's not visible?
Yeah, I am sharing.
No,
Just
but
again
it
I
is.
will share.
But
Now
it's
it is
not
visible?
Not yet, sir.
Just a minute, sir.
Please share the entire screen, and I think then it will be visible.
Just a minute, sir. Now it's visible?
No, sir. No, yeah,
No,
now it is visible. Now it is visible.
So 10th one is visible?
Yeah, now it is visible, sir.
Yeah, so yeah, you can interrupt me before. Yeah, okay, sorry. So
Sir,
yeah, so yeah, now I talked about non-invasive biomedical systems. So as I already told you, the signals which is acquiring from the different organs of the body, same in image modalities like X-ray, CT scan, MRI can use to assess any organ, to identify the activity of that organ and that particular organ having some disease or not. Okay, so these are known as data acquisition. For according to the disease, which particular organ information you need to extract, that is known as data acquisition. After data acquisition, you need to convert, or you need to use some signal processing or image processing technique, which can convert your signal or images in such a form where you can extract more information of that particular modalities. Okay, after that you need to extract the features which can be useful for identify that particular disease from that particular modalities. After getting the features, we need to ensure that some statistical test whether this particular features are useful for diagnosis or prediction or detection of that particular disease or not. After confirming that features, we will give as a input these features to any machine learning algorithm, which is known as classifier, where these classifier will automatically identify whether the person having a disease or not. So after this, we will go take some example how this is the basic block diagram for development of any non-invasive biomedical systems. I will take some examples so that you can go inside or you can think how this can be developed. So for example, here I am taking an example for a diagnosis of sleep apnea. So first of all, sleep apnea is a sleeping disorder which for long-term sustained sleep apnea event may be cause of neurological and cardiovascular disorders. So based on that, we can say that there are two type of signals like EEG or ECG can be acquired for a diagnosis of this particular disease. So like EEG in a previous study shows that EEG is proficient in accessing the sleep quality and sleep disorders. So EEG measures the electrical activity of the brain. So EEG is clinical tool for investigating pathological and physiological states of human brain. So the qualitative analysis of EEG signal is very challenging because its nature is irregular, non-stationary nature. And visual scanning of EEG is also a challenging task because it will take too much time. It may be inaccurate, very complex, subjective judgment, and it's required trained professional. So our requirement, we need to develop a system which automatically it can identify the person having the disease or not. So this is our objective. So for this purpose, this is the block diagram for classification of apnea and normal EEG signal. So like from the brain, there are different type of portions where you can acquire EEG signals. So the first question come in the mind, which particular signal is responsible for identify this apnea? So by using a statistical test, we need to identify, this is the first question, where which particular portion is responsible for that particular disease. So what we need to do, we need to take EEG signals. So in EEG signal having the three different type of montage. One is known as monopolar, another is known as bipolar, third one is known as reference. Monopolar means the electrode you need to put some part of the brain, scalp of the brain, and the second is known as ground, which you need to take from the ear, or you can say that lobe of the ear. Like here you can see, for this apnea event we required bipolar. Bipolar means the point you need to take a potential difference of two different points. Like here it is showing F3 and C3. So there are some point in the brain like a frontal region and central region. The difference of F3 and C3 we are taking as a signal to identify apnea. After getting this signal, we have applied empirical mode decomposition method. So empirical mode decomposition method will decompose your signal into a different bands. Different bands means different frequency components. Like in original signal having a different frequency component, after decomposition you can identify different type of bands. Then some features you need to extract, then it will, these features we use for any classifier, then we need to evaluate the performance. So for example, here I have taken a data which is available online in MIT VHI PhysioNet database. So first, how we will get the database in India? If we talk about in India, so getting a pathological data itself is a big challenging task. So MIT USA, they have a one ATM which is known as physiological ATM. From that ATM you can extract the signals. Like they have the person who have developed the database, many hospital is developing the database, and that database they will give to the MIT. Then many doctors will annotate that data, and that data will be available for research, freely available for research purpose. So in a Google, you can, if you can write PhysioNet ATM, so all type of database you can extract. So this database we have taken from the MIT VIH database. In this particular database, 16 EEG signal recording is available, and 256 hertz frequency of this data, and the length of the epoch is 30 seconds, and number of normal is 1195, and apnea is 947 signals are available. So by visual inspection, if you can see the normal and apnea EEG signal, by visual inspection it is very difficult to identify which particular signal is belonging to apnea class, or which particular EEG having a apnea disorder. So for this, what we need to do, we need to decompose a signal into a different bands. So like I have used empirical mode decomposition, it's an adaptive method. It's a data dependent method, does not require any condition about the stationarity and linearity. So EMD will decompose your EEG signal into a different intrinsic mode function, which is narrowband functions. So after decomposition, your signal will be represented by sum of IMFs plus residue, or each IMF having a two characteristics. The complete data set, number of extrema and number of zero crossing must be same or differ at most by 1, and the envelope defined by the local maxima and local minima will be 0. Then you can say that your IMF having a some bands, very small bands they have. So you can say that narrow band signal. So after EMD, again one question will come. This is your original EEG. After EEG is decomposing a different 12 parts. Okay, and you can see that the IMF1 is having a high frequency as compared to other IMF. So as IMF is increasing, the frequency is reducing. Means IMF11 is low frequency component as compared to others one. So IMF1 is the high frequency component and IMF11 is very less frequency component. But the question is, by visual inspection of EEG, we cannot say that which particular signal is belonging to apnea. But after decomposition, you have different type of bands. Now the question, which particular bands having a characteristics which can acquire apnea disorder. So now you have a various signals now. Now we need to find out which particular IMFs is useful or which is given a higher classification accuracy. So from these IMF, we will extract different features. So this is the characteristics. If you can see, like this is the instantaneous frequency of all IMFs. This is the behavior of amplitude. So like amplitude and frequency behavior is changing. After that, we have extracted some features. Features means which can use for representing that signal. Okay, because if you take signal as an input to any machine learning, then the complexity will increase. So what we have done, we have taken a different type of features. So we will extract these features from all IMFs, like range, mean absolute deviation, interquartile range, coefficient of variance, and standard deviation. So these are the 5 features. Now, how we can say that these features are useful or not? So for this purpose, we need to apply ANOVA test. ANOVA means this is mathematical. One ANOVA test means there is a one statistical test which will give you the idea whether that particular features for this IMFs are useful or not. So like now we have variety of signals and variety of IMFs. For example, for IMF1, this is for all apnea event. This is for all normal event. If we will talk about the range of FM, will give you the probability of 6.6 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 7. What it is mean? It means this particular features of this IMF have a capability to discriminate these two different classes by using this probability. If probability is less, means it has capability to discriminate these classes. So you can see that I have chosen features which particular features are useful. So you can see that all features having a less than 0.05% probability, so that these features we can use as a input to machine learning algorithm. So this test will give you the idea which features are useful, which IMFs is useful. After getting this information, these features we can give as a input to any machine learning algorithm. How this machine learning algorithm will work? So for example, we already know near about 1100 signals belonging to apnea event, near about 947 signals belonging to normal class. So what we need to do? We need to tell this classifier which particular features are belonging to which particular class. For example, we are saying that apnea is belonging to 1 class and normal is belonging to -1 class. Then these features vector we will give as a input to this classifier. Now how this classifier will work? So classifier having the 3 different approaches: training, learning, and testing. Training means the information features we are providing as a input to classifier, that is known as training. Means we are telling to the classifier what is the characteristics and what are the values of features of normal class and what are the values of features of abnormal class. Okay, based on that, this classifier will go for high dimension plane and try to learn that particular training data. Learning means it will make some decision boundary. How this decision boundary will make? By using this kernel function. So based on this kernel function, your boundary will be non-linear. After making this boundary, we will go for testing. So after getting this boundary, we will go for testing. In a testing, we will give as a input to features of the signals which is unknown, means the we have not used for training purpose. That features we will go for testing. So after testing, you will get the output in the form of 1 and -1. Based on the previously you have decided in your output training sets, if 1 is belonging to apnea class and -1 belonging to normal class, accordingly you will get the output. After getting the output, you will evaluate your performance of your methodology by using these performance parameter is known as accuracy, sensitivity and specificity. These are known as performance parameter. So here TP means true positive, means in a testing the signal we are given we already know. That's why we are saying that supervised learning. We previously know which particular features is belonging to which particular signal. So like we will give as a input to the features, then this particular belonging to that particular class, means suppose this is previously it is belonging to apnea and your method is also detecting for apnea, then it is known as true positive. Previously it is belonging to apnea but your method is showing it is normal, then it is known as TN, true negative. Same FP or FN we will find out. After getting these, we can calculate the accuracy, sensitivity and specificity of the system. If your accuracy is high, then you can say that your system is good. Like here, we can see that for first IMF, we are getting accuracy is 95.25. IMF2, we are getting 93.2. IMF2 we are getting 93.2, IMF3 we are getting 95, IMF4 87.21. Then it goes decreasing. It means the IMF3 and 1 means IMF1 have a capability to extract better classification accuracy, and we can say that the IMF1 having a capability to classify or a diagnosis of apnea event. Here you can see that sensitivity is also 100%, specificity is 91.99, PPV is 89.73, NPV is 100 and error is 11.44, which is less as compared to other IMFs. So this way we can conclude the same thing. We can go for different type of electrodes also. So after developing this algorithm, we can get the answers which particular portion of the brain is responsible for apnea event, which particular IMFs of that particular EEG, and which features and which classifier is useful for proper diagnosis of apnea event. Like here, our accuracy is 95.29, means the method which we have developed having a 95% points we are able to correctly identify or correctly diagnosed. So this way we can develop some non-invasive biomedical system. This I am taking up one example for apnea event. So there are a lot of diseases like EEG having a like in brain, the neurological diseases can be identified by developing this type of non-invasive artificial intelligence based system like schizophrenia, Parkinson, epileptic seizure. There are so many neurological diseases. Through ECG, you can go for cardiovascular diseases, Alzheimer. There are so many heart related diseases. You can go for HRV measurement. There are other type of heart diseases also you can use. You can diagnose by using this type of method. This is one example, and we have compared our method by all other methods are available in the same data sets. If you are comparing your method, then you have to use the same data set. If your data set change, then your accuracy and other things also change. That's why we require to take a database which are benchmark database, where already people have worked. So you can compare your method, like people have used ECG, EEG, some physiological other physiological signals also they have taken, but we have taken only EEG. So the complexity of the method is also less, and the accuracy we are getting is also high in the same data set. Another approach that is known as pathological conditions or identification of pathological conditions. Now we talk about the physiological condition. Physiological condition means the data set which is not belonging to any disease, like it is responsible for identify physiological phenomena. Physiological phenomena means like emotions, sleep study, hand movements, leg movements, or any BCI, brain computer interface. So I am taking one example for emotion classification. Okay, so what I have done, I have the data set I have developed in our lab itself. So how we can develop our own database? For pathological, we have a problem because for pathological we require neurologists and cardiologists. But for physiological, experimentally, we can also taking some training. After taking some training, how we can acquire that particular signal, then we can go for the development of the database also. Like in our lab, we have developed the database where we have shown the videos, different type of persons or different type of different students and other pupils, where we can identify 4 different emotions like sad, fear, and relax and happy. 4 different type of classes we have taken for emotion classification purpose. So how we have shown them? First we have shown a black screen, then we have shown audio video stimuli, means video for 150 seconds. Then we ask what are they are feeling. They are feeling sad, fear, relax, and happy, means that particular EEG is belonging to that particular class based on the feeling. By whatever he has feeling, the participant is feeling. So that time, whatever EEG we are recording, that EEG is belonging to that particular class. So like we have 490 sad, 490 fear, 490 for relax, and 490 signals for happy. Then this is our experimental setup. We have the sampling frequency is 256 and the length of the signal is 20 seconds. Then this is the electrode placement. This is our how we are showing and how we are putting the electrode in the brain. So if you see this mapping, so this is our brain. Okay, so like here we have make a bipolar montage, means the difference of 2 points. Like we have put it one sensor, all sensors here, then the sensor putting in FP2 and F4. This difference we are taking in the first electrode. So the FP2 and F4 signals is belonging to the difference of the electrode which is putting in FP2 and the electrode which we are putting in the F4. So this way we have making a bipolar recording. Okay. So here you can see that F belongs to the frontal region of the brain.
I think we have lost the connection with Dr. Bajaj.
Hello.
Yeah, now
Sir. Hello. Voice is coming.
Now you're audible. Yeah, now you're audible.
Okay. So based on that we can go for bipolar
but
recording.
Your PPT is not visible, Dr. Bajaj. Your PPT is not visible.
Again I am sharing now. I am stopping. Now visible?
Not yet, sir. Yes, now visible.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, you can interrupt if it is, there is any problem in the voice, and you can.
Yeah, your voice is little less. Please make it a bit louder.
from the brain or EEG, then we can go for the development of our methodology. So like what I have done, by visual inspection, you cannot say that which particular signal belonging to happy class, which belongs to fear class, which sad, or which is from neutral. So what we have done, we have used time frequency representation, which will give you the more inside information of the signals. So this is one example for one signal I am showing here. So like this is for sad class, this is for happy class, this is for relax, and this is for fear. Now after this time frequency representation, we can use as a input to any CNN model. So like CNN having a different type of architecture like LXNet, VGG16, and other architecture already developed. So in that these architecture, the number of hidden layers are fixed. So you can use these images as an input to any type of architecture. But this architecture will give you the accuracy which may be low. So what we need to do, we need to develop our own architecture. So like here, I have proposed our own architecture, which having only 2 fully layer, 1 softmax layer, and 4 convolutional layer, and we have 7x7, 5x5, and 3x3 filters. But if you are using directly the already available architecture of CNN, then you do not have flexibility to change the different type of layers and size of the filters. So for this purpose, you need to develop our own convolutional neural network. So like here, I have developed our own convolutional layer, and I also compared with the previously developed like LXNet, ResNet 50, and VGG16. And this is our developed convolutional CNN network. So like here, we are getting accuracy is 93.01, and the F1 score also we are getting 0.93, and the error is also 2.42, and other networks we are getting a less classification accuracy as compared to our one. Now for comparison purpose, because the database is our own database, so what we have done, we have implemented these algorithms in our own database. Like somebody has applied FAWT with KNN for 4 emotions. So this method we have developed our own database. Then we try to find out the classification accuracy for fair comparison. After the comparison, we have shown that our SPWBD and configurable CNN providing a higher classification accuracy. Okay. So this way you can prove that whatever method you are developing, and physiological, you need to prove that whatever algorithm you are chosen, that particular algorithm is useful for that particular activity, like for pathological development of pathological system. Okay, this paper we have published in IEEE Transaction of Neural Network and Learning System, which having impact factor more than 8. And yeah, conclusion, so we can say that artificial intelligence technique can improve the accuracy and efficiency of the biomedical systems. So the signal processing technique also can be used for improvement purpose. It can also reduce the complexity of the system. The future scope, yeah. So we required for development of artificial intelligence based biomedical system, we required energy efficient algorithm. The security is also one of the aspects, because we are using a private we required secure data and privacy. And the third part is real time. So if the method having a such capability, it can use in a real time, or actually it can work in a real time applications. So that will be a great system, artificial intelligence based system, which we can apply for development of biomedical system. These are the references which I have used. If we talk about the current research work going on for biomedical area in artificial intelligence, so for EEG, people are working on the seizure detection. Seizure means epileptic seizure. And people are working on the classification of sleep stages, because sleep having a 83 type of neurological disorders. So these type of disorder may be insomnia, apnea, or snoring. There are 83 type of sleep related disorder which can use for EEG can use for identification of this type of disorder. Identification focal and non-focal signals. Focal means the person, the surgeon in a neurological in the neurologist required to identify the area, which particular area surgery is required. That particular portion is known as focal region. and non-focal region is normal, where the activity is normal. So for this also it can EEG signal can be used. Classification of alcohol and non-alcohol, also EEG signal can be applied. Like we are using a smelling devices, but EEG based devices also can be used for classification of alcoholic and non-alcoholic person. Emotion classification is also one example. Other neurological diseases also can be identified using EEG signals. For EMG signal can be applied for identification of myopathy, neuropathy, and ALS disorder can be identified. For ECG, people are working on the QRS complex detection, normal and abnormal beat detection, or it can be used for arrhythmia detection. So if I talk about the research work in my group, so these are my student, Dr. Sachin Taran. He has developed adaptive framework for classification of EEG signal. Presently, he is working as an assistant professor in DTU. Dr. Sweta Jain, she worked for classification of ECG beat using evolutionary algorithm. And Dr. Nikhil Agrawal, he has developed IIR filter using evolutionary algorithm for different biomedical signal filtering. Presently, he is working as an assistant professor in IIIT Nagpur. Santosh, he has developed for image classification, pattern and image classification using fuzzy mean mix neural network, and he has working on the biomedical image side, image area, and he is working IIIT Kottam as assistant professor. Mr. Smith, he has developed classification of neurological state using EEG signal. Presently, he is working as a postdoc scholar in Aarhus University, Denmark. And these are my postgraduate students, and this is my research collaboration from 5 different countries: Australia, Turkey, USA. So we have one group, biomedical research group, and this is in India and Singapore and Australia professors. So these are my foreign research collaboration, and I would like to thank all the sponsored and organization who invite me for this talk. Thank you very much. If you have any question, then you can ask.
Dr. Varun.
Hello. Yes, sir.
I would like to know that, our researchers, how can they implement or say?
Sir, your voice is breaking. Can you repeat?
Am I?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Researchers in Chhattisgarh.
Yes,
can
yes.
develop in this area? What kind of work they can attempt?
Yes.
So for their benefit, what you suggest that what kind of things they should try our working area over here?
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, yes, yes. Hello.
Researchers in this area, that how they can further expand these activities.
Yes, yes. So for this purpose, sir, my voice is coming. Hello.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So if there is a new researcher, what they required, first they need to identify problem. Based on the problem, they need to find out the modularities. So like if they are going for pathological disease identification, then they have required a pathological database, which they can acquire from the online databases, which is available in the MIT site. Like if they are working on the signal side, so they can first they need to identify correct databases. Then they need to develop some signal processing technique, which particular technique can be applied or it can be used for identify that particular information. Okay, then they can go for machine learning algorithm. So nowadays there are so many apps are available. Like in MATLAB also there are 12 to 13 type of classifiers are available, and there are many CNN algorithms are available. Just you need to first you need to apply these methods which are already available. Then you have to work out how your data is not, you need to interpret the data. Then you need to go inside of that machine learning algorithm and you can solve any problem.
Okay. And
Yeah, so simple step by step procedure if they will apply. So accordingly, they, nowadays the codes, everything is available. Just you need to go to the inside of that, how they are getting, they need to interpret it physiologically that databases. Then they can, yeah, easily they can develop the algorithms. Like we are also working in the COVID-19. So like we are through X-ray, we have tried to detect that severity of COVID. So for these, like in Indian scenario, the doctors don't want to work. Now they are try to develop the system. Their medical and engineering facility will be together in the same campus, but doctors are not interested in the research. So the problem in Indian scenario, we have to go for physiological data. If we want to develop our own databases, then we have to go for physiological. For pathological, we need to depend on the online databases, benchmark database, which is already available in different type of sites. Like I already told, PhysioNet, ATM, and there are different type of image database available, which can use for the detection of ulcer, cancers, breast cancer. For mammogram images are available for identification of breast cancer. So this type of database people can apply.
okay, thank you.
Hello? Hello? Participant can write the questions in the chat box also.
Good afternoon, everyone. Unnati this side. I hope I'm audible.
Voice is
Sir, I'm
less.
serving this institution as an assistant professor. Sir, there's a curiosity.
Yes. Yeah. Hello?
Okay. So, yes, sir, I was saying that there is a curiosity in my mind to know the answer of one question. Sir,
Yes.
the two words you said, that was emotion, artificial intelligence, related to that.
Yes.
So there are two words, one is sadness and another is depression. So we are human beings, we are social animals, and I think that sadness is good because we often experience khushi after gum. So I would like to ask you, sir, like how we can differentiate. What is that fine thin line between sadness and depression? Because through AI, we would like to find out the definition of depression, not sadness. Because I feel that sadness is good. Sadness is normal.
No,
Without
no, no.
sadness, we can't be happy. So please, sir, there is a curiosity. I
Yes,
request
yes.
you to please
Yeah, yeah.
enlighten this.
So, like, if you are talking about sad and depression, so both are different classes. Okay, because I am not saying sad having a some disorder. It's a new normal phenomena. That's why we are saying physiological states. Pathological means the person having a disease. Okay, so sad is not a bad thing. I'm not saying this is disease. Okay, but for the database we have developed for 4 different emotions. Sad and depression both having a different phenomena and different characteristics. Clear? If you are going to develop the, depend on the what type of system you want to develop. If you are going to develop the system which is able to identify normal and depressed, then that particular data set you need to take for development of artificial intelligence based system. Clear? Like in my case, I have taken up 4 different emotions. So what I am trying to identify, what will be the difference between the sad, happy, relaxed and neutral conditions. For that particular thing, I have developed the system. If I am going to develop the system for depressed or normal person, because depression is not a normal sign in a brain. So what we are trying to develop here, we are trying to identify from the EEG signal, we will try to find out what are the changes in a brain. Through EEG, we are trying to find out what are the change when the depression is coming, what particular portion of the brain is responsible. So for depression is different, sad is different, both having a different systems. So if you are going to develop the system which having a depression and normal, then you have to give as a input to EEG signal as a input to depression and normal. Then you can develop the system for depression identification. I think little bit your answer will be, yeah. Hello? 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 Voice is coming?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, Dr. Varun.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, your answer was quite, I think, she must have, quite convincing. And
So
let
you
me
are
see if you are
audible.
having any further question. Ma'am, are we having any further question?
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, if you want to
You are
work in the
audible.
depression, so yeah, one of my colleague has developed the database for depression also. And this our emotion database is freely available in my home page. If somebody needs, then the database is freely available for research purpose.
That's a wonderful offer, Dr. Varun.
Yeah, so just you need to in a Google you can
No, sir.
write Dr. Varun Bajaj. Then we have a web page. From the web page there is a one form. Just you need to sign it that form. Ki the database only used for the research purpose. Then immediately the same day you will get the database, and all information of the database is available on the website.
Wonderful. That's a wonderful thing. I think it will help our students very well.
Yeah,
On this,
anytime they can mail me, and I can help out, whatever I can do that. And the Physio, there is a one ATM, in a Google you can write Physio ATM. So all type of databases you can extract. If anybody have a problem, then they can write, I will help him to extract the database from the MIT sites.
that's great. That's great. I wish that maybe a group should be working over here under your guidance, and maybe kind of research group, because we have a pharmacy also, we have engineering
Yeah,
also over here. So if such
yeah.
a group could be created over here, it would be a great help to the students and researchers over here. Could you listen, Dr. Varun?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
great. So I think Tripti, over to you then. Madam Tripti.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bajaj, for talking to us and conducting this session where the participants who are The participants present online and offline have gained a good amount of knowledge regarding machine learning, be it biomedical and AI. Thank you so much, sir, for conducting this session for us, and would request you to kindly share the slides along with your details, your email ID and the number. I hope a lot of participants would be there who would be ready to interact and talk about all the topics which you have talked about, and they might be interested in interacting with you in person. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I would request our director, sir, Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, to share his views about the sessions which has been conducted till now. So, if you can share your views.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful that our participants, our keynote speakers are able to give a wonderful knowledge about the various important issues, and I'm sure our researchers and students should be taking lessons from these. And our another keynote speaker, Dr. Felix, I think will be joining us soon. So let's hope he'll be joining. And in the meantime, what I feel that let there be discussion group between the our own institution is having so many subjects are there. We are having engineering subjects are there, all five major branches otherwise, and along with 7 8 subjects, pharmacy, commerce, science, arts, and law. So we should have a interdisciplinary research groups working in our college also. So with that, I think that Dr. Felix is available. So please continue with that, Tripti.
Thank you so much, sir, for interacting with the participants. Now, moving ahead with the program, we have with us our guest of honor, Dr. Felix C. Chavez. Dr. Felix C. Chavez is currently associated with Jose Maria College as president in Davao, Philippines. He is the founder of FCJ Research and Consultancy Services, Philippines. Dr. Chavez has done his Bachelor's of Science in Biology from San Pedro College in 2003 and completed his Master's of Science in Environmental and Resource Management from University of Southeastern Philippines. Dr. Felix C. Chavez has more than 12 years of experience as an academician and faculty. He has 16 research and publication on his name in different international journals. He also holds many achievements on his name, to name few of them as Most Outstanding Administrative Head, Best Research Paper, National Research Institutional Leadership Award, and many more. So it is our pleasure to have Dr. Felix C. Chavez with us as a guest of honor. Over to you, sir. By the time Dr. Chavez joins us, let me talk about tomorrow's session. We'll be having a few of the common session, and the sessions will be starting from 9:30 a.m. onwards. And we'll be having a special session with Dr. Asmita Kane from USA, a keynote speaker, Dr. Saket Jaswani, Dr. Mona Purohit, Dr. G.D. Sharma. And along with that, we'll be having parallel sessions of all the streams where the participants will be presenting their papers, and the valedictory session. The valedictory session will be starting from 2 p.m. sharp onwards, which will be going live. I request all the participants to join us in the valedictory session and help us make this overall program a grand success. In the valedictory session, we'll be having a few of the esteemed dignitaries from our institution, also from outside the institution, where we'll be having Dr. Rahul Gedam, who is the organizing chair, HOD, ETNT, addressing us and talking about the overall session. We'll be having Dr. Shruti Rathore, who is a principal, LCIT School of Pharmacy. We'll be having Dr. Archana Shukla, who is a principal LCIT Commerce and Science. Again, we'll be having a presidential address by Professor Ravi Prakash Dubey, who is a Vice Chancellor, Dr. C.V. Raman University, Kota, Bilaspur. Uh, we'll be having Dr. Manoranjan Sharma, who will be addressing us. A presidential address by Director Sir, who is our Director Sir, Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, and a vote of thanks will be given by Mr. Shubhi Srivastav Wadhwani, who is Vice Principal, Lakshmichand Institute of Technology. Over to you, Dr. Chavez.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, the director of LCIT Group of Institutions. To a good friend of mine, Dr. Saket Jeswani from OP Jindal University. I commend the LCIT Group of Institutions for conducting this wonderful intellectual gathering of researchers and scientists as they share new ideas and findings of their research. Since the theme is emerging trends in multidisciplinary research, we are expecting that several highlights about new trends and research designs based on specific field of specialization will be presented during the plenary and parallel sessions. Since I am from the academe, so my topic will be the recent trend in research in the academe. So in the academic institution, it's actually one of the important products and requirement, especially in higher education institution, the production of research outputs, not only from faculty but also to the students. So that is why in the research in the academe, the agenda setting is very much important. Basically, research begins with identification of the problem, followed by formulation of research questions or objectives. That is why we always anchor our research project to the research agenda. The institution has research agenda aligned to the national agenda, and these are priority areas in which all programs shall align their research proposals and research projects to the identified agenda. These are problems and issues identified that need solution through research. After setting up the agenda, the research office shall disseminate to all departments and programs as their basis for their research projects. The call for proposal will be posted and the institution will allocate fundings for the research projects. In our country, all higher education institutions must allocate at least 2% of the total revenue as research fund. This is very important for the operational cost and for the incentives of the faculty researchers. Moreover, every academic institution must have an institutional research ethics committee that will ensure protection of the human participants. All faculty and students must secure ethical clearance before the conduct of data gathering. The ethics committee shall monitor the implementation of ethical guidelines. Meanwhile, the school will support research dissemination through fora or conferences. The faculty will also be given incentive for presenting their paper in a conference. Moreover, the faculty are encouraged to publish their research in a peer-reviewed or high-impact journals such as ISI or Scopus. They will be also given publication incentive for a successful publication to a certain peer-reviewed or high-impact journals. When it comes to research designs, a lot of developments in the use of different approaches like the mixed methods research design, not only merely focus on purely quantitative or purely qualitative. Although there are some who are venturing in multivariate approach that entails higher form of statistics such as path analysis and structural equation modeling, but many are now venturing into mixed methods research designs. So the most common are the convergent design and sequential designs. So when we talk about convergent design, both the qualitative and quantitative data are collected and analyzed in a similar time frame, after which there will be data integration and comparison of the findings, whether it corroborates or contradicts with each other. The next is explanatory sequential design. The intention of this particular design is to determine whether the qualitative data help explain the quantitative findings or results. So in the first phase of explanatory sequential design, it will start with quantitative data collection and analysis. And later on, you can determine notable findings in the results of your quantitative data, and these particular notable findings may need further explanations. So that is why in the phase 2 of explanatory sequential design, you will perform qualitative data collection and analysis in order to further explain the notable findings in your quantitative results, and you will provide interpretation after. Furthermore, we also have the exploratory sequential design. So the first phase of exploratory sequential design include qualitative data collection and analysis. Actually, this is a good design if we want to venture into want to develop a tool, then we can utilize the exploratory sequential design. It will start with a qualitative phase, conducting interview, conducting focus group discussion to extract details from the participants that will be the basis in the items of your questionnaire. So after you have already formulated the items of your questionnaire, for example, if your intention is to develop a tool, then the second phase will be the quantitative phase. Okay, so in the quantitative phase, of course, the items that has been formed out from the interviews with the participants will be disseminated to a sample of respondents, a large sample of respondents. And this particular results and the data obtained from the quantitative data collection will be analyzed using quantitative data analysis. First, it will be analyzed using the exploratory factor analysis. Through exploratory factor analysis, we can be able to determine the dimensions of the variable or the tool that we'll be developing or the construct. And after exploring the dimensions, we can proceed to another quantitative data gathering and analyze that one using the confirmatory factor analysis. Then, through confirmatory factor analysis, we can explore and develop the best fit model of the variable that you are studying. Then followed by pilot testing and determine the reliability of the construct. So the intention of this is to explore first using qualitative approach before building into a quantitative phase in the development of the tool. For the allied health program, since there are restrictions because most of the schools in our place are doing online, there is no face-to-face yet. Some of the researchers ventured into systematic review and meta-analysis. So the systematic review collects all possible studies related to a given topic and design, such as, for example, um, the effectiveness of a certain drug, like for example the controversy about ivermectin as a drug to treat COVID-19. So utilizing systematic review and meta-analysis, it enable the researcher to establish the statistical significance with studies that have conflicting results. So during the systematic review process, the quality of studies will be evaluated, and the statistical part is the meta-analysis. Through meta-analysis, we can be able to see if the effects are consistent across different populations. But it doesn't really mean that meta-analysis can be performed only in allied health or clinical researches. It can also be performed in social sciences, business, and education related research. And lastly, we also encourage interdisciplinary research, combining two or more fields to develop new technology. Like for example, health researcher and computer scientists can work together to form a surveillance system to predict the epidemic size and transmission rate of COVID-19 in the country. So I hope that everyone will learn about new things in this conference, and we can share our learnings as we go back to our institution. Thank you, and may we have an engaging, fruitful, and constructive sessions ahead.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chavez, for addressing all the participants present online and offline. It was an honor having you here with us for the session. Now, going ahead with the next sessions, we have interdepartmental session which will be running parallelly, and it would be starting from 1 p.m. Sharp. So requesting all the participants who will be presenting their paper the respective sessions. The details of the sessions are in the website. Please go by visiting the website, and you'll be getting the links over there as per your department, links over there. And please join in. The first session will be starting from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and the second session starts from 2:05 to 3 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll meet tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. sharp.